You know what's really funny? That I don't know why, but this just popped into my head right now.
Crap.
When Minecraft first like came out, I didn't know what Minecraft was.
Okay.
Like the only okay, I didn't know what Minecraft was, but I thought Minecraft was the same as Minesweeper.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, oh, mine, right? So I thought people were just referring to Minecraft as Minesweeper. And then people would be being like, oh, yeah, it's such a scary game. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's scary to not know which tile has the bomb
Sure.
on it. I guess that's intimidating and kind of scary. And then people talk about, like, dungeons and stuff. And I'm like, okay, what kind of Minesweeper game are you playing? There's like dungeons and there's enemies, like, yeah. And then I found out that it was just it was this game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like,
It's like,
oh,
whoa, this is completely different than
Yeah.
what I thought it was.
Where do I put the which tile do I poke to hopefully reveal a number and not a bomb? Yeah. I was not a smart child, but at the same time, I was kind of a smart child.
That's exactly what I had. I was smart, but not smart.
Yeah.
Type of deal.
I always found, like, growing up, I was either really smart about certain things or, like, way below stupid for other things. Like I don't know, like, there'd be things that I would say, and people would be like, wow, John, that's actually, like, really smart. And I surprise myself with even saying what I am, because I just run on autopilot.
Yeah.
Because I feel like once I kind of tune in, again, to what I'm saying, then I start to, like, think about what I'm saying and then try and articulate my words, and then it just doesn't... It's like when I start to think, that's when I just can't come up with words. But then if, like, right now... Like, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just running on autopilot right now. But I find that happens a lot with, like, if I'm trying to explain something and I go on a tangent, and then that tangent goes on to another tangent, I have a very hard time, like, going back to that first thing that I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And it's mainly because of that. I'll just keep going on tangents, and then... I don't know. I like to over-explain things.
I do that, too.
I do it all the time, and... My friend, I guess my best friend in high school, he'd always make fun of me for it because what I would do is if I was telling him a story, I would start off the story, blah, 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 telling this. If he interrupted me at all during the story, I would restart the story.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I would try and do it in a condensed way, but I don't know.
In a quicker way.
In a quicker way,
Yeah.
but I would automatically...
Like, oh, no, they're losing interest. I must explain this faster.
Yeah. And so I would keep, like... I'd stumble over my words and I'd be, like, trying to re-explain everything. But he found that I did that a lot. And so he would always try and, like, troll me. So whenever I told him a story, he would purposefully, like... interrupt me.
Jeez.
And then I'd have to restart the entire story again, or just like sum up what I talked about up until that point. And it was like I couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Like it was just an automatic thing that I did.
I wonder if that's counted as like an OCD thing, because I kind of do that as well.
Maybe,
I don't know if it's an
know.
OCD thing, but it's definitely
It was something that like
something.
I could do occasionally. Like I could get past it and I'd be like, okay, this is where my story starts. Like, or this is where we're starting it again. But there was a lot of times, especially in high school, where I just couldn't. Like, I would have to restart the story. And it would really suck if it was only like a 2-minute story. Because I would spend the next like 10 minutes talking about it. But it would be like the same dialogue, like the same story elements to it. But it'd just be told in a quicker, condensed way. But there was no point, because it's a short story anyway, so there's no point of even recapping what I said.
Yeah.
But I would do that anyways, right? So...
Yeah, you just felt something compelling you need to explain this
Yeah.
properly, so there's no misunderstanding. Not really.
Yeah, right? And, like, because, I mean, that was always a big thing for me, is, like, I don't like it when I'm trying to explain something, but I can tell that it's coming across differently. Or, like, it's coming... The words that I'm using are not exactly the best words to be explaining the story. And I can't stop myself, like,
Yeah.
halfway through, because I'm already, like, committed to telling the story this way.
Yeah.
Right? It's totally subconscious. Like, I can't just, like, you know, start to think halfway through and then change, like, words that I want to use or start explaining, like, oh, I meant to use this word instead of this word. And I can just see, like, the person I'm talking to. I can see their face getting really confused. And I'm like, I want to explain this a different way, but I don't know how.
Yeah, that's me in my... When I speak.
Oh, yeah.
Just like...
when you pause yourself and you're just like...
I could say this so much better, but do I continue? What do I do?
Yeah, right? And then... I know, and then I guess it ties in with it, but it's like, that's a point where I'll restart a story or something, where it's like, okay, I want to make sure that I get every point across, or every point that I need to get across will actually get across. Yeah, so I'm not exactly the best storyteller for that. When I was younger, I was not. Nowadays, and I think it's because of having this YouTube channel, basically, has helped me.
Yeah, it's helped me quite a bit as well.
Yeah, like, it helps us formulate words and get better. Like, I don't know. Like, you took acting as well, right? Like,
no,
I think you took acting.
I was in drama class.
Yeah.
I was terrible at it 'cause I'm not good with people just looking at me.
Right.
While I'm trying to do something.
I found that, honestly, like...
A lot of it's eye contact. I'm just not good with eye contact.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's... You're not the only one. You're definitely not the only one that's not, like... I don't know. That's such a big thing, is eye contact. Like, immediately, within the first, I don't know, like 5 seconds of meeting someone, you kind of get the feeling if they are an eye contact person or not an eye contact person. Like, I don't know. There's quite a few people that I know that are not eye contact people. Right?
Yeah.
Or they'll make eye contact, like, briefly, but then they'll start, like, looking other ways and start looking elsewhere, even though they're explaining, right? For me, I was definitely one of those people growing up, and then due to taking theater, or taking drama class, I got better at that, and now it's like whenever I'm talking to someone, like, they'll be looking away, or they might, like, look side to side or not talk to, like, directly, eye contact with me. But I'll be eye contact with them the entire time. Yeah. Right? And then I start to think, like, wait a minute, like, are they noticing that I am making eye contact with them fully and not turning my head? Is that weird to do that? Do they think I'm weird, I guess, for doing that, right? But, like, I don't know, I guess it's a normal thing, so, like, nobody gives a shit, really, about it. Yeah.
At least I don't. Just, like, I just feel odd that I don't when I've been told that I should.
Yeah, well, yeah, like, honestly, it doesn't really matter. Like, as long as you can... I just find as long as you can talk and as long as you can get your point across or whatever you need to, and it doesn't matter how you... It doesn't matter if you make eye contact or what. As long as you can do that, then whatever, it's fine. Like, it's different for public speaking because that you are supposed to make eye contact with people, and I can understand that because eye contact is... This is going to sound kind of cheesy and a little weird, but it is kind of like a gateway into, like, a person's words/personality, I guess.
Okay.
Because, like, I don't know, like, when somebody looks you dead in the eye, right, and they say, I don't know, they're trying to explain something to you or they're trying to get you on their side about something, then it totally helps, right? Because it feels like they're in control, they're dominant, they are, like, they know what they're talking about, and it's just makes it more convincing, whereas someone who's looking away might be more shy or might be not as confident in the words they say.
Yeah.
And that can be kind of, like, detrimental if you're trying to... You know, for instance, get someone to join forces with you or something.
Yeah. Right?
Or you're trying to convince someone to do something fun or whatever. My friend...
I've noticed a lot of people...
Oh, God,
if I'm forced to make eye contact with somebody who's, like, kind of demanding it, I am less likely to talk to them.
Like someone who...
Or be, you know, convinced by what they're saying.
Right, okay. Like someone who's trying to... It's like,
is
trying to get make eye contact?
Yeah. When they're just kind of, like, looking at me, it's like I tend to back away more.
Right.
And not deal with them because they're trying to sell me on something. And and I'm just trying to figure out what it is. And then I lose interest in the conversation.
You can kind of tell, like, they might have an ulterior motive, which is why they're trying to get you to look in their eyes.
I view a lot of eye contact as something that they're trying to get something out. Like, they're trying to get something from me.
Yeah.
Because nobody really pays attention to me unless they want something from me.
Okay.
That's how I grew up. So that's kind of why I don't like eye contact.
Yeah.
I tried to change that, and I definitely have been working on it, but it's hard. It's very difficult.
It is really hard, and especially, it is one of those things that when you notice that you're going out of your way to make eye contact with people, that I feel like is when you feel the weirdest.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for me, it just comes natural for me right now. Like, I've gotten to a point where I can make eye contact with people, and I am totally fine with it. I'm not fazed by it. I'm not, like, I don't think it's really weird.
Yeah.
But when I first started out, like, I would subconsciously, well, even sometimes even consciously, thinking like, okay, make eye contact with the person, try and like stay eye contact the entire time, and then it would just be, I don't know, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like my friend who ended up taking theater in university, and getting his like I guess he got a diploma for acting.
Okay.
At the end of it. So there was a I don't know, I guess it was like after one of his classes one day, and we were hanging out, and he was like, okay, John, how are you with making eye contact? And this was only a few years ago, so like I had already been okay at making eye contact.
Yeah.
Probably better than okay, probably just, I don't know, a normal amount.
Just amazing.
Just absolutely amazing. I am the god of making eye contact. If anyone knows me, they will know that, wow, John, he makes a lot of eye contact, and he has a really big wiener. Just two facts that go hand in hand. Oh, geez. Just really good at eye contact and really big,
just to see
really
that your
big
expression
wiener.
when you notice his big wiener.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And while you're looking at my big wiener, I will be looking at your eyes. I will be looking directly into your soul.
That surprise is what he's... Yeah.
Yeah. Waiting for your reaction as you look away from my eyes down to my big wiener. God, man. It's these kind of jokes that I'm like, okay, I'm glad my mom doesn't watch. Oh, man. Oh, jeez. And I could take it even further, being like, oh, but she already knows I have a big wiener because she raised me. But then that goes into a whole weird conversation right there. So it's a little too much. Sorry, mother, if you're watching this. And
for your brother.
Yeah, no, well, yes, I guess my brother, who also sometimes watches this. Oh my gosh, so my friend, he was just done acting, right? And we were just hanging out in his car, and he was like, yeah, an exercise we did in class today was literally to have a conversation, but be like fairly close to the person, and remain, like, keep your eye contact as much as you can. Right?
Yeah.
Like, don't move, don't look away somewhere, don't do any of that. Just look at the person and have a conversation with them. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like, doesn't have to be anything interesting, really. Could just be like, I don't know, shooting the breeze, or I don't know, whatever. But, you know, just try and stay eye contact with them. And he wanted to know how well I would do with it.
Yeah.
And we ended up having, like, actually a pretty decent conversation. Yeah, and it was just like, it was fully eye contact, and especially in the beginning, it was a little weird just because I knew that this was an eye contact thing, so immediately I'm like, okay, keep making eye contact with the person. But
so you just focus on
So you just focus, and it's like, it's hard to focus on the words sometimes and focus on, like, trying to talk to them and make conversation, right? But then, like, give it, like, a minute, at least for me, like, I was able to adapt to it pretty quickly. And then suddenly it's like, oh, you're having a full-on conversation with someone, and you're looking directly in the eye, and that becomes totally secondary, right, to it, because you just stop noticing it for the most part. So we actually did very well, but he was telling me before that, like, some people, I guess, in his class were just very shy, and so they weren't the greatest at it. I'm being, like, DP'd by some skeletons right now. One was getting me from the front, and the other was getting me from the back, and yeah, I'm not doing very well right now. Get in the water with me, come on.
It's like, and you know what? It's not as fun as you thought it would be.
I mean, anyone out there who is into that, you know what? That's great. If you can really handle that much at one time, you must be able to handle life pretty well. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Yep. Do you think you and I would be able to have a face-to-face conversation, like make direct...
I'm glad you went in that direction.
What? I'm not talking about the
DP.
Okay, it was a weird...
Whoa. Weird.
It was a weird segue into what I wanted to talk about. But you know what? It makes it memorable. Remember that time John was talking about DP and then suddenly asked Brent a question that could be possibly related to DP, right?
Shit!
Oh no!
Our beds!
Oh no! Oh crap. I don't have a spawn point then. Oh poo. Oh poo poo poo. I still have 3 diamonds on me, and if I die, this is gonna suck. Okay, I'm gonna try my best, but I don't think there's too much... I keep saying there's not too much more to go through, but then I keep finding literally everything to go through.
Let's move the beds.
Yeah, it sounds Gucci. Growing up...
I should make a... Well, look at the beds together now.
Hey, nice. Love it. Absolutely love it. I was gonna say, growing up, I was very shy.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, you know, the sweet boy that everyone knows is like super, super nice. But I was always like really shy when it came to people. And one of the most surprising things that I ever did was actually like, aside from taking the mandatory like semester of drama in grade 8,
yeah.
I liked it. And then I continued it on until the end of grade 11. Right?
Okay,
like I did theater for that long. Which, as someone who has a legit anxiety disorder, from a bunch of shit that happened when I was a kid, I ended up getting an anxiety disorder from it. And ever since then, like, it's hard for me to... it's just the usual anxiety shit, right?
Yeah.
So for having that, and then going into something like acting where you have to be very vulnerable and you need to talk in front of people and you're like, I don't know, you're just very open.
Yeah.
I guess it was the most surprising thing for me. And I remember my parents were like, who the heck is this kid? Like, I don't think that's our son who is, you know, crippling anxiety. Like, I mean, I won't go into details of like, you know, I don't want to share everyone with like my life story of like all the times that I got like terrible anxiety about things.
Yeah.
But I will say it got to a point when I was younger that I could not even go to my best friend's birthday party because I was so anxious. There was really no reason for me to be anxious. Like, we were going to I guess the equivalent of like Chuck E. Cheese. Do you remember Chuck E. Cheese? It was like the equivalent of that. But we were just going there, and it was like a group of friends. Like, I knew all of them. They were all like, I don't know, they're all kids, so they're all, you know, they were young, so it's like, whatever. You're not gonna have deep conversations with these little shitheads, right? So, but I don't know. Just my anxiety was so horrible that I couldn't even go to my best friend's birthday party. Like, my mom was like, okay, like, there's no reason for you not to go to this. So if you really don't want to go, like, you have to go to his place and tell him, like, don't call, like, I wasn't allowed to call him and just be like, hey, I'm not coming over, right? Or I'm not going to your birthday party. My mom actually made me go to his place and like tell him that I was not going to go. And because I think that was kind of what she was thinking was going to be like, okay, once he gets there, like, it'll be fine. And most of the time it worked. Most of the time is fine. Most of the time is like, once I was there, I was like, okay, whatever, this is fine. Like, I can have a fun time. But it was always the lead up to. And it did get, like, bad one point where I actually went there, and then I was about to go in, and I was like, no, you know what, I don't think I can do it. So then I ended up just, like, leaving. like I told him, I'm like, yeah, I'm not feeling well, so, like, I can't come tonight. But for some reason, I'm talking to you in person right now if I'm sick. Or apparently sick, quote unquote, right? Yeah, like, and that was one of the things that theater really, like, helped me out with was, I don't know, it was just something about it that just helped me out with the anxiety. Yeah, I don't know.
For me, I was the opposite. I was fairly outgoing up until my teenage years.
Okay.
I didn't really... I don't know. I don't know. I was never... I never had this... I don't remember ever having this problem, like, speaking whatever and not asking people if they want to hang out or whatever. I never had that problem. I just like, oh, I'm just gonna go over to their house, ask if they want to go out or bike around or something. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I just now have to like, I'm very aware of what other people do, and I just don't want them to. I don't want to inconvenience people, and I don't know. I know that I'm not, but I just don't want to. It's a weird freaking feeling. I can't explain. It's not really anxiety, I don't think.
Is it?
It's just more like...
Is it like a worrying kind of thing? Or like, I don't want to...
It's not worrying. It's more like... I don't like it when I'm bothered. So, or like... I never liked it when I was bothered because growing up, I would have... when I was bothered, it means I wanted something from me. It's
right.
Like, it's always... I think that's where a lot of this stem from. It's like, I'm generally like... When people talk to me growing up, it was more like, I want something from you.
Right.
So I don't like talking to people because I don't want people to think I always want something from them.
Oh, okay.
And I know that it's not true. It's not what's happening. But
yeah.
It just ends up freaking seeping into my mind when I do that. So
yeah.
I generally don't ask people to hang out too often because I have that feeling. I don't know why.
Okay. I mean, if it's... And especially because I'm assuming this is, like you said, this is something you've kind of felt since being a teenager.
Yeah.
I guess, right? Yeah, and you know, you being the old muscular boy you are now, like you've lived with it for a while.
Yeah,
now, right?
I'm generally quiet now, or generally a lot quieter than I used to be because of those kind of feelings for it.
Yeah, like... It's so weird. Yeah, that's almost the complete opposite with me. Like, when I was a kid, that was more like... It wasn't that I didn't want to bother anyone. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't say that I have, like, I don't know. Anxiety and depression go very, like, hand in hand with each other. Like, if you're diagnosed with anxiety, like, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to get some sort of, like, I don't know, minor depression. Because it gets in the way. Yeah. Right? It's like, man, I really want to go do this thing. And my body might be like, hey, let's do it. And my mind will be like, hey, let's do it as well. But then I guess, well, actually, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like there's something that's, you know, making you feel this way, and it makes you anxious and makes you worry and makes you not want to do the thing, even though you know that you'd have a fun time and you would want to do it. Right? Yeah. But yeah, I found that as I grew up and as I got into teenagehood, I like that slowly started to like disappear, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember what I was originally making a point of. I brought up the whole depression thing for a reason. Now I can't remember what I was making. God damn it! I've got to explain our entire like hour-long conversation again from the beginning.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's a weird like little thing I've developed. I'd say it's not anxiety, really.
It's just kind of like
It's just the thing that's like just hyper aware.
Yeah.
Of what I just don't want to. I don't know. It just felt annoying when I was bothered when I didn't want to be a part of it.
Like if
it was generally like, you know, take care of these kids. You're 12 years old and they're like 10, 8, and 6.
Yeah.
And now you have to do that. And now I have to do this thing I didn't want to do. Wasn't actually asked to do it. I just had to do it.
Yeah.
I wasn't babysitting. It just parents were gone for 2 days at a time and just shit like that.
Yeah, you kind of had to like, I don't know, somewhat step into that parental thing,
it was not
I guess
role I wanted to be a part of.
No, of course. Well, like when you're young and you're basically a kid, right? Like the learning responsibility and learning adult stuff is it's very life-changing as a kid. Yeah. Right? Like I don't know. I never had a huge amount of responsibility as a kid because I was the younger brother, right? So if anything, I was always the one that was being taken care of. Yeah. Like my parents would go away or something, or they even if they were just both at work, right, and I got home at 3 o'clock, my brother would get home and then he would basically babysit me until whatever time, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know. For me, I just never had, like, a younger brother to be that parental unit for. I guess,
yeah.
even if it is something as simple as, like, babysitting.
Yeah.
Right? Or not as simple as, but, like, something like
simple.
that. Well, it can be, depending on the kids. Totally depends on the kids, I feel like, for that. I mean, you could probably get 2 little ungrateful pieces of poo as kids, and then suddenly you have to deal with them. But I don't know, like, I never really had the responsibility of doing that, right? But for the things that I did kind of have to deal with, which, I don't know, like, I guess part of the things that kind of triggered the anxiety disorder for me was, like, just a lot of bad things that were happening all very close together. So, for instance, like, I was very close with my uncle, right?
Yeah.
And then he passed away,
Yeah.
right? Now, I was still a kid when that happened, and no one ever, like, told me, like, oh, by the way, like, your uncle is dead, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad no one ever told me that. Like, I never had to go through that, but... you know, I would hear it in conversation, like, oh, yeah, your uncle, like, was this and was that. So you kind of piece it together, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of the first thing is, like, okay, first experience with, like, a family death, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That was a big thing. But, again, I was a kid, so I didn't really think too much of it. But my subconscious was probably a little more freaked out, right? Even if my mind at the time didn't realize what it was.
Yeah.
I guess. So there was that, as well as, like, shortly, I don't remember if this happened before or after or what order these came in, but I just know they happened, like, very close to each other. My house got broken into, when I was younger, and they stole, like, a lot of my mom's jewelry. They stole my Nintendo 64 and all my games.
Yeah.
On there, they stole, like, they didn't steal the Super Nintendo, but they did steal the Nintendo 64. And then I remember, like, because what ended up happening was I was in T-ball at that time, or baseball. I think it was T-ball I was in. And my dad forgot to set the alarm, like the house alarm, before he left.
Oh,
and
yeah.
someone broke in, and because the alarm wasn't on, they basically had all the time in the world to steal shit.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I came home, and suddenly, like, my parents knew something was up. And I remember I was just looking around because I didn't know what it was. And then suddenly, like, my mom started getting really panicked. She's like, oh, John, like, you gotta get out of the house. Like, go over to the neighbor's place. And blah, blah, blah. And I didn't know what was going on, right?
Yeah.
And until it was just until later, like, my brother was like, oh, yeah, like, someone broke into our house. And I was like, wait, what? And then, like, yeah, they took the Nintendo 64. They took, like, all this other stuff. And I guess that was a big part of it. Well, it definitely feels different when you don't feel safe in your own home.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. It was one of those things that was kind of scary to me. It's like, whoa, someone who wasn't in the family suddenly just, like, came into my house, like, probably into my bedroom, and stole stuff, right? And just took stuff from us, right? And dealing with that as a kid, you're not really prepared for it, right?
Yeah.
Like, at least for me, like, I knew grown-ups did grown-up things and stuff, but I guess there wasn't really a point where I was like, oh yeah, there are bad grown-ups too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we were always taught, like, you know, don't take candy from strangers and all this, because they could be bad, and you never know what's in the candy, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you never really heard about, like, oh yeah, murder is a thing. Someone could come in and just stab you in your sleep. Like,
It's like, oh, I'm learning the actual dangers of the world.
yeah, right? And so that was kind of another, like, wake-up call, I guess, was the beginning, where it was like, or when you just, like, oh, someone's broken into my house. I now don't have things that, like, I loved, right? Like, my Nintendo 64 that I played hours and hours of Donkey Kong 64 and Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time and all my favorites on there, right?
Yeah.
Diddy Kong Racing, like, Pokemon Snap, like, all those games I was like, oh man, like I don't have them anymore. And I don't know, I guess because it was a big part of my childhood, like gaming, right? It just, I don't know, it just felt weird. It was like, it was surreal a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I guess, but it was also, yeah, there definitely was that kind of terrifying element that's like, oh, somebody literally just broke into my house and stole my shit. Like, yeah. I don't know. And dealing with it as a kid is not great.
For me, a lot of that was... a lot of my stuff was like, taken and then pawned off.
Yeah.
And already, and it's by parents. So, like, I already knew what that kind of stuff happens. It's like... oh, this cool N64? Yeah, you don't have it anymore. Like, what happened to it? And it's like, oh, I pawned it. Oh, great.
Yeah.
So now I'm just gonna sit here, watch TV or whatever. So I ended up saving up stuff, and then I remember like saving up for about a year and a half for a GameCube.
Okay.
And bought 2 games.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime and Mario Sunshine.
Oh, nice.
And I just remember my dad asking, it's like, do you have money, whatever, till payday? It's like, no. It's like, all right, can I pawn your games? It's like, no. It's like, and then it's gone. Anyways.
Yeah, and then he just did.
And it's like, I don't have the game. I don't have one of my games, and it's gone for a while. And it's like, all right. And then sometimes it's usually just a console, but not the actual game itself.
Right.
But when it's you're just like, oh, where is it? It's like, oh, we don't have it right now. It's like, oh, now I have nothing to do. And I'm just kind of pissed off. And then,
yeah.
And also, by the way, I found this out earlier, but if you jump on a bed, you bounce a little.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
You do? Oh, that's awesome. I remember there was a thing that used to be, I don't know if it still exists, I don't think it does, but it was something that, like, you could negate all fall damage by landing on a bed.
Oh, yeah.
Or something. I don't know if that was actually true or not. I feel like that might have just been one of those Minecraft, like, theories, or one of those, like, hoaxes that came out that was like, oh, if you do that, then you're okay. Holy crapoli. I come back and look how beautiful this place is.
Yeah.
Man, got some candles.
I made it so that no enemies can spawn in there.
Nice.
If you make it every 5th block, every direction, they can't spawn in that light level.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome.
At least that's what I've been doing, and it has no enemies in there so far.
Our cows are mounting each other.
Yeah, I put a hay bale in there to see if that'd do anything.
Yeah. Well, they haven't eaten it.
It doesn't eat it, so
no, it just kind of looks like they just kind of mount it and I don't know. Ay. So Brent, I'm depositing our diamonds. And actually, no, I'll deposit them into here. Into the bottom right chest.
Okay.
Is that where you keep all your wood?
I was gonna make 1 stack for wood, or one stack for cobblestone, 1 stack for dirt, and that's pretty much those 2 are the ones we're gonna mostly get.
Right.
Oh, and now it's dark since you're here, and we can actually sleep.
Hey, we can actually sleep. That's great.
Because we need to reset our save points.
Yeah, dude. Okay, I put the diamond in the top chest right here. I'm gonna keep our materials and stuff into that, like the ore and stuff. We'll keep it in there. Where's our bed? Oh, here it is. Which bed do you want, big boy?
I got the white one.
All right, I'll take the brown one. Oh boy, I just saw you jumping in the bed next to me. Oy. Hey, Brent.
Yeah.
You want to know something crazy?
What's that?
We've been recording for like 2.5 hours.
Shit. It's 9:30?
Yeah, it's about 9:30. So why don't we call it a session now?
Tomorrow, not tomorrow, but the next time we record. I am going to build a thing somewhere over there.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tunnel that goes down to the lowest levels.
Okay.
It's a mining tunnel, basically.
Yeah.
I'm deciding whether or not to put it in here or over there.
Okay.
I think I'm just gonna put it there.
Yeah, why not, right? We have the entire space to use, right? So
yeah, and I'm gonna use that as the growing the freaking paper.
Oh, nice. Sugarcane, dude. So sugarcane for days.
All around the center.
That's great. That's awesome.
What they used to have is when the sugarcane grows 3 high.
Yeah.
Skeletons can't target you. They have to go around it.
Oh.
It doesn't work anymore.
Oh, no.
So that...
Aw.
So this is what I used to do.
Right. Oh, it still looks cool,
But
though.
I like doing it because
I don't
it
know.
looks nice.
That's the thing, right? It looks nice. All right. Well, next time on this game, we're going to continue to do some stuff. And Brent, guess what?
What's that? Jeez. Throw an egg at me.
I have to end every episode or every session with me throwing an egg at you.
You threw the egg that I picked up.
I
right
did.
back at me.
You know what? I did. Thank you for the ammo.